Hey guys, it's Tony. Before we get into the video, I want to share with you all some very exciting news, and that is the announcement of Arena Breakout Infinite. If you guys haven't heard of Arena Breakout Infinite yet, this is going to be a brand new free-to-play, PC-based, hardcore, first-person extraction looter shooter aiming to compete with games like Escape from Tarkov. Be a totally realistic game with real weapons, attachments, ammo, combat, health items, you name it. You're gonna gear up, customize your guns, your loadout, enter a raid, loot, shoot, fight other players, AI, and hopefully extract. And if you aren't aware, there is currently a mobile version of Arena Breakout that's been out for a while now. I've played it a bunch and it is a super impressive game. Arena Breakout Infinite is looking to take things to the next level on PC. The game will be releasing soon, but right now, starting April 26th, you can sign up for the closed beta, which should be happening sometime in early May. I will put a link down below in the description where you guys can go and sign up for the beta. Highly recommend you do so. I'm really excited to see what this game brings to the table and also see more competition in the extraction shooter genre. So don't miss this one. Thank you guys as always, and I hope you guys enjoy the video. Yo, what's going on, man?
Not much. Interesting day, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a shitstorm.
What the fuck is going on?
I've been asking that all day. Not what we expected to wake up to. They said yesterday they were going to drop a patch and they were going to put the game down for 6 hours. Yeah. And then we wake up and like it's this whole shitstorm. We're expecting like a big update and we get this.
So it's not only that the community was not expecting this, but they were actually expecting to have legitimate content that wasn't $250.
They did a little bit, yeah, but we knew that there was some new edition of the game coming, so
yeah,
to replace the Edge of Darkness edition, but we didn't think it was going to be this.
So there's a lot of different people saying a few conflicting things.
Okay.
So the first thing I was curious about, do people really in the community genuinely support the game that much that they buy the $150 Edge of Darkness edition?
Yes,
it is. Like, so this is like, it's like PoE kind of.
It is largely. I probably see more people in game with the $150 edition than without it. Yes.
And so, like, because I feel like Tarkov has like they have one of the most dedicated communities because of how hardcore the game is. Like, I've only played it for probably less than 20 minutes, so like I don't really understand it very well. I've watched other people play it though, and it seems incredibly in-depth. It's like one of those games where you can put, I'm assuming, probably 2,000-3,000 hours into the game and still have more things to learn. Is that pretty accurate?
I've got like 15,000 hours in it.
Oh shit.
Yeah. It's also something that no other game replicates, so there's not really an alternative. If you want this type of experience, this is really, at least currently, the only option.
Yeah, I mean, like Dark and Darker, right? But like that's just such a different dynamic.
Yeah, but that's not.
It's not shooter.
It's
right?
not a shooter. It's not a realistic take. Like Tarkov is it's real items, real guns, the attachments, the scopes, all that is all real stuff. So people that are into, I want to build a real gun and have a real loadout where everything is, you know, true to life. There's nothing else that does that.
Yeah, Tarkov gives you like a more authentic experience, and I think it has like that extra level of realism, so people feel like they're having as close to an authentic experience as possible.
Yeah, like if you mod a gun out in Tarkov, it's like you could go out and buy that actual gun and make it IRL.
Theoretically,
like,
there it is. Yeah. So, are people mad about the $250 price, or are they just mad about the fact that? So like apparently whenever you bought the $150 version, you effectively got what was a lifetime membership to any future DLC, and now they're going back on that?
Seemingly. So I think it's twofold. I think one, $250 price tag is off-putting to people, right? Yeah. It's a lot of money. You know, $150 was already a lot, and then slapping an extra hundo on it is it's a price shock, but it's also the stuff that's included in it, partially because we're borderline pay to win with some of the stuff, and also because there's they say it's not DLC, but there's DLC included in there that was promised with the original edition of the game that we won't get access to.
So there was DLC that was promised, and that DLC is like, for example, the single player mode, the extra hideout zone, and those things. Like, would those?
Yeah.
Is that what you're
So I
DLC?
can read directly from when you bought this edition of the game. It says free access to all subsequent DLC, and they call that the season pass, such as Escape from Tarkov or Arena. So we're promised getting all of the subsequent DLC added to the game for free if you bought the expensive edition.
So can I just real quick, the Escape from Tarkov Arena, my understanding is that that's a separate version of Tarkov, kind of like how Call of Duty has Warzone?
Yes, they're supposed to be linked together at some point in the future, but okay, so this is getting into an interesting thing that we noticed on stream today. So originally, I have an archived web page of their website describing the Edge of Darkness edition when you buy it, and it says included in the edition, free access to all subsequent DLC, parentheses, season pass, such as Escape from Tarkov Arena. That page.
So they are categorizing DLC as alternate modes of the game.
Yes, but that, like, I read that exact description on the webpage today, and then soon after the page was updated and they removed the part that says such as Escape from Tarkov Arena, and it now just says free access to all subsequent DLC, parentheses, season pass.
Could you link me that thing so I could just see it?
Yep.
That's crazy.
So,
have the devs commented on that at all?
No, and it was something we looked at the page live, and then we went back and we noticed it was changed. So we pulled up an archived version of it. And,
okay, I'm trying to look it right now.
Yeah, they also edited it. It might be getting blown up. They edited some other pages as well live that we picked up on, but this was like the main one because it references the DLC.
So yeah, I see it right here. It's in the first paragraph, and it says, in addition, such as the case of Edge of Darkness Limited Edition, access to co-op mode and free access, and all subsequent DLC. And this is the official website right now. And it does says, then next it says, when you improve the pre-order version, all current progress. So it's like something else. And this is the web archive, and this archive is from
today.
Wow.
April 25th.
So
I literally on my stream, I was reading the archived live on their website, and then we went back and it was changed. So if you look
right here, such as Escape from Tarkov Arena.
Yes, and then also if you notice, the archived version says unique secured container, and the live version removes the word unique because the container that you got in the Edge of Darkness edition is also in the new $250 edition, allegedly.
It's
So they went and they specifically amended the word unique from the description.
Yeah, it says secure container on the official site right now, and then before it said unique secure container.
Yes, and I think a lot of people would take the word unique to mean, unique to this edition of the game. You can only get it if you buy this edition. Right.
Yeah, and of course, obviously it was people were led to believe that, and unique meant something, and now it clearly doesn't. That's why it's been removed.
And if you scroll up on the live page as well, the date is still from 2022, so they also didn't note that this was changed in some way today. So there's
no update. I see. So they just went in and just edited the web page,
seemingly,
and took this out.
Yeah, seemingly that's what happened.
I mean, I don't know what else it could have been. So why do you think they're doing this now? Because this seems so surprising, because Tarkov is one of those games, they have such a dedicated community. I've seen, some streamers streaming Tarkov, for the, obviously you guys have a lot of really good drops. And so I'll see people popping off. Tarkov has such a great community that seems super engaged. Why would they do this?
That is what I've been saying the same thing all day. It's a game with a dedicated community, crazy fans and people, they're willing to spend money on it, and it just seems so odd to me that this is how they choose to further monetize the game. And I get it, they have people like me that we've been playing the game for years, and maybe they feel like they want to get some you know, recurring revenue out of players or further monetize it to make money, whatever. I'm totally fine with that. I get it. You're a business. You want to make money. I'm all good with that. But this just isn't the way to do it. There's so many other ways and examples in games where they monetize things fairly with good cosmetics and so forth. And this just seems like all the wrong ways to do this.
Are there cosmetics that you can purchase in Escape from
They
Tarkov?
have, yes, they have recently been adding those. Some of them, I think probably all of them, don't quote me on this, are unlockable through the game, through like quests. Some of them challenging or like really end game quests, some of them not, but you can buy cosmetics in the game currently. And these are all recently added.
Okay.
But they're not like...
How have people responded to that?
I don't think people really minded.
Nobody really.
It wasn't like a big like, oh my god, I have to buy that skin type of thing.
Right.
But there's no like weapon camos or like.
It's not like a ghillie suit.
Yeah, it's not like that,
Yeah.
and all of it is stuff that's been in the game for a while that you could have unlocked, or some new things that are unlockable regardless. But they're not like crazy over the top skins that people are gonna lose their mind over and want to buy.
So let me get this straight. So these fucks have a community that will give them $150 for a game and not complain about microtransactions, and they still want to increase it?
Yeah.
That's crazy to me. It's like, I mean, at a certain point, aren't you killing the golden goose?
Yeah, I mean, I
mean, wow.
That's what I was saying too. It's like, why put in, like, even without the controversy of this is DLC or it's not DLC and it should be included in this edition. Like, why not take the model where you make free content for the game, or it's not even free because you paid for it, but you add content to the game, keep people playing, and give them good, like, cosmetic stuff to buy, like weapon skins, character skins. There's like voice lines in the game that you can yell at people in game. And I was like, add some cool, funny voice packs to buy and yell obscenities at people in the game and make it fun, and like people would pay money for that. They would love it. It'd be fun, make content out of it, you know.
Yeah, so it's like a Fortnite dance or something silly like that doesn't really have like a real effect on gameplay.
Yeah, and they're just like, they choose to add like additional starting items when you start the wipe, and you know, they have this PvE game mode now, and like they have some other.
A player that buys the $250 the $250 version has a unique competitive advantage against the player who does not buy that version. Is that correct?
It's a little bit more nuanced than that, because it's a weird game where like it's not like I have better gear than you, I win. You know, anyone can kill anyone with one bullet from even the worst gun in the game. You'd be wearing all the best gear in the game and die instantly to somebody with the absolute worst gun, worst ammo. But you definitely have an advantage in your starting items at the beginning of a stash. And now there are some permanent things that you can get larger pockets and a larger secure container so you can hold more stuff, or, you know, they're not huge gameplay advantages, but arguably they're getting into the pay to win aspect. And they also have the new thing, I think you read it, where the scavs won't shoot at you from a certain distance, or even
if you are maxed out reputation with defense.
And then there's another thing that they're going to be adding, which we don't know if it's going to be in like the PvP aspect of the game or just the PvE mode, but something where if you're getting in a fight, you can call people from your friends list to join your raid and help you out. So you can assemble the fucking Avengers while you're playing, and all your boys come. We don't know if that's going to be in the PvP mode. It hasn't been confirmed, or they didn't detail it out, but it's just stuff like that where we don't want that, you know?
So I guess, yeah, I mean, that would completely ruin the game. I would say if you can just randomly summon in 3 guys to help you kill somebody.
That would potentially suck. Yeah, we don't know how that's going to work yet, so I can't say one way or another, but it's just the fact that we even have to, you know, question that and be like, hey, does this work in this mode? Is this what you guys are doing?
I mean, when they're literally changing the sales clauses inside of the upgrade page without even mentioning that Like it's very dishonest to say that, you know, this is from 2022 and not even address this at all, that it was an update.
And
it is dishonest.
The weird thing too is that this edition of the game isn't sold anymore. So why are they going in and changing wording for an edition that they've stopped selling too?
Right.
It's like, why did you feel the need to go in there and even change that?
I think probably so. I mean, there's a good chance that maybe they thought that if they did it quickly without saying it, that then people would think that it was just a Mandela effect and it didn't actually happen. Like play some kind of weird gaslight shit. That's not going to work on the internet. I don't know who would believe to do that.
I don't know.
But I don't know.
It's just strange to me. Like, it's not even an edition that they're selling anymore. So why are we changing the wording of it from a 2-year-old post from something that's not even for sale?
Yeah, this is really weird.
It is weird.
And so,
I don't know who's, like, if it's some rogue employee that's editing the web page, or, you know, it's hard. I don't want to point any fingers or draw conclusions, but
it just happened. I mean, we don't know who did it.
Just looking at it, like, we noticed it and I was like, hold on, there's no way they just changed that.
Yeah. Somebody says that they made tweets and doubled down on it. Is that true?
Yeah, so when people were saying the whole we were promised all DLC and now you're adding DLC that we're not getting, they went out and they said, nope, this is not this is only a thing for the new edition. If you have the previous Edge of Darkness edition, you're not going to get this new PvE mode. You have to buy the $250 edition or spend the $150 or $100 difference to upgrade it to get access to this.
So, and this is the tweet where they say PvE mode is a unique feature which is available only to the owners of the Unheard edition. We will keep you updated on new features. And then it's not a unique feature, it's a DLC that can be purchased.
Yeah, so in Discord, the community, the lead community manager, he said verbatim, and these guys they're a Russian company, so their English is always a little bit broken.
A little bit off.
Yeah,
sure.
So he said it ain't DLC, it's a unique feature of the new edition added, and then also further said DLC means additional downloadable content. PvE is a feature and game mode. Just because you all want it to become a DLC, it wouldn't mean it is one. It's featured game mode for the new edition of the game. So I
bet that didn't go over very well.
No. Their Discord is on fire. It's just it's been constant spam for hours.
I feel like it is kind of funny because the odds are, yes, maybe they don't understand English quite all that well. So they say it's not DLC, and then they just literally define DLC.
Yeah, but it's like
what happened.
The thing is too, this is an early access game. So it's not, and even when you go and buy the game on their website, it doesn't say instant access to the game. It says you will get instant access to the closed beta. So they're literally defining it as a work in progress, incomplete beta version of what will soon be a final product. Right. And they're making additional content for the game and putting it for sale for an additional price before they've made or fulfilled their promise of making and completing the game, which to me is just like really off-putting.
Well, yeah. I mean, I could see how anybody would believe that. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like.
And go ahead.
No, it's just so strange to me. Like, you know, you would think you would at least fulfill your promise to complete the game with all the promised features, and then, you know, if you have additional stuff to add, you'd add it then.
It's like you're adding extra stuff whenever you haven't even finished doing what you said you were going to do. When everybody has invested money into
with maybe money that people gave you to create the game, right? So
they did.
Yeah, you take people's money to make the game that you promised, and then you're trying to charge them for something that you're building with their money that they're not getting for the original product.
That is incredible. How does the community feel about like what seems to be an encroachingly more pay-to-win system?
We always like the original Edge of Darkness edition. It already tiptoed the line of, some people would argue it had pay-to-win aspects. It wasn't like overtly pay to win by any means, but you know, it was kind of getting there. Like, you know, it was maybe
it's an advantage though, right?
Yeah,
And
there was some sort.
Okay.
There was some sort of advantage for sure. People called it pay for convenience, not pay to win.
Okay, so it's pay to win then.
Yeah, I could see people's argument there. You wouldn't get like a direct, if I'm in a gunfight with another person in the game, like would having the better edition make you win? Probably not, but still. It was getting on a slippery slope, and now it feels like we've just dove off the cliff.
Jumped off
like
the cliff. Yeah, that is incredible. So has anything like this ever happened? Because I feel like the last, like, Escape from Tarkov, I mean, there was like the whole wiggle thing, right, with like the cheating scandal. Yeah. And before that, I feel like things have been pretty much smooth sailing.
Yeah.
So have they ever had like a big controversy like this before?
No. I mean, until recently, you could only buy, there were like 2 or 3 editions of the game for sale. They never changed. They were always available. They recently removed the Edge of Darkness edition, started adding some microtransactions, and then they said they would be adding a new, better version of the game, and they dropped this morning.
And speaking about
they're actually versions, no, I lied. There was a controversy when they released the Escape from Tarkov Arena. So everyone that had Edge of Darkness was supposed to get access to Arena, and when they initially released the game, they did it in waves. So I mean, you know, it makes sense. You don't want to throw everyone into the game at once and blow up the servers, and then people are mad. But what they were doing, allegedly, was if you had EOD, you wouldn't get access right away. You'd be waiting in one of the waves. But people that bought the game straight up, like Arena, paid the price for it on a separate account, would get immediate access.
Oh yeah.
So like there were people buying it, getting in right away, and the people that maybe bought the game 6 years ago, dropped the 150, they were waiting. You know.
And how much was Arena whenever it came out?
I think it was $30, $35, right? Right, chat?
Okay.
35,
well,
30?
It was not $70,
yeah.
But still, I mean, $30 is a lot of money for a lot of people.
Yeah, but it was also just the fact that you had dedicated people that were supporting the game for years, and then they were sitting around not getting access, waiting, and it's like, oh, well, if you pay us money, we'll let you in right away.
Yeah, no, it's obviously a scam, and I could imagine, like, I mean, if you spent the money and they told you were going to get this, and then somebody else spends more money and they get it faster than you do, I think that's kind of a fucking scam. I mean, it's
sucks.
Not even a question.
It sucks. You know, that was a big problem. I felt terrible hearing about that.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, that's astonishing. And I think especially, like, you know, as a streamer, right? I mean, you probably have disposable income to buy something like this, but for some people, $30 is a good amount of money. And if you've already spent $150, which is like almost the price of like maybe like a last gen console even, or like a TV, you would expect to not be a second-class citizen effectively, which is what that creates.
Yeah, and again, it's not even, regardless of how much money the game was, like as an early supporter, someone that like, you know, we're talking, this game's been out for a long time. So like 6-7 years ago, even, you might have supported this game early on, and they're kind of just like, well, we already got your money. We don't need to please you. And we'll give you access later. Like, you know, the people that pay money are more important now.
Exactly. No, yeah. And also it's like people evangelize the game. Like I have a lot of people that have wanted me to play Escape from Tarkov. They've been trying to push me to play it. And like all of those people are pushing that. And by doing that, they are trying to advertise and promote the game. So it's crazy to just like take all of that goodwill and then make somebody pay $30 extra for it. It's like such a, like, I mean, personally, I would assume that you probably wouldn't want to sell it until you have your existing players that are playing the game. But I feel like if you do something like that, it's got to be on purpose.
I don't know. I mean, don't attribute to malice what can be attributed to incompetence, right?
Yes. No, there it is.
You know,
no, you're right. You're very right.
You know, I don't want to think the worst. It's just it just feels so wrong trying to like get money out of people this way.
Yeah, it's kind of a bait and switch, at least a little bit.
And what sucks is honestly the game, it's a good game. You know, it does something that no other game does. Like, you won't play another game and get the same.
Call of Duty's been trying to do it, right?
Yeah.
Like if Call of Duty can't do it, it's probably pretty fucking hard to do.
100%. Like what they've done, what they've done with the game is great. They've done a good job of building out the features and adding to it over time. And you don't get the experience of this game anywhere else. And it sucks that like this is how, you know, people are going to be treated, or that people feel they're being treated in a game that's honestly very good.
I definitely understand that. I see that very, very well. I mean, I know like for a while there have been a lot of instances where like, you know, that needle was moved a little bit more, where it's like, okay, there's a little bit more pay to win, and oh, you have to pay a little bit more for this. And, you know, I think it's been happening with gaming in general, right? So it's like people see this happening with things like, you know, Suicide Squad or that Star Wars game, or like some of these other like Diablo 4, right? And they have like these crazy microtransactions, and it's like, you know, you can imagine the people from Escape from Tarkov probably are like, okay, well, we're safe, we're just in our own little bubble, and now, you know, the bubble's burst, and you've got to deal with the same shit that everybody else does.
Yeah, and you know, I get it. Making games is tough. It's a big risk to try and, you know, come out and develop something like this, a big undertaking. There's a lot of money involved, there's expenses, and also just get the aspect of, you know, you build a big brand and an IP, and I don't think there's anything wrong with trying to profit off of that, right? Like like you're a business, they're there to make money. These guys have put in tons of work, they've sacrificed a lot, they've taken risks. They should be rewarded for it, but this just isn't the way to do it, you know?
It just sounds awful, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, again, there's really no upside for the customer. And I think that's one thing. It's like, it's the same with streaming. It's the same with anything else, like a movie, a TV show. It's like your business model is not an excuse for creating a bad customer experience.
Right. And there are plenty of opportunities in this game to like fairly monetize it and add like content or, you know, skins, cosmetics, whatever it is that people would genuinely be happy to spend money on. Right. Which is the weird part. Like there's so many different ways they could have done this, and I'm sure without me just thinking today, they could have come up with some really creative stuff. And it's just like, it feels like this was just like a cop out. Like, oh, we're gonna charge $150, add in some easy stuff just because we can, you know.
So they also made a tweet too about shitting on another game, this Arena Breakout.
Yeah.
So is this another? Well, what is this?
Okay, so glad you brought this up. So Arena Breakout was kind of like, I'll say Tarkov clone, quote unquote, on mobile, right? On mobile. So it's basically, you could play it on your phone. It was an extraction looter shooter. It had all the same features. You go in raids, get loot, customize your guns, do quests, yada yada. A couple days ago, they announced Arena Breakout Infinite, which is their PC version of it.
So now it directly competes with Tarkov.
They're trying. I mean, evident by their tweets, they're coming after Tarkov. Like they want to capture the players of this game or people interested in the game. It's going to be free to play on Steam. So they started tweeting out a bunch of stuff. Let me pull up one of them so I could actually read it.
So they're basically, this is a big opportunity for them to like capitalize on Tarkov.
They literally announced it a couple days ago, and they have a beta coming out like next month. So they're like, all right, dude, this is perfect timing. Let's get the PR guys on this, get the tweets out. So they dropped like a gameplay trailer today to show it off. They said literally verbatim, we will never scam our players and our game will always be free, right before they dropped the trailer for it. And then they also later, let me find the tweet, they said, taking in all the homeless shooter looters with a big wave goodbye to Tarkov. We're here to welcome you. And then they came right after them.
Shameless.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I mean, you know, I get it. But so their Battlestate Games, who makes Tarkov, their response to this, they like quote tweeted it basically.
Yeah.
And their response was they took a screenshot of the tweet and they said, "Have a nice 20-minute adventure in the blatant plagiarist game In and Out." So their response to this whole thing, they're like, all right, our players are upset at us for dropping this DLC. Like the DLC that's not DLC, the $250 game edition, and their response, everyone's mad at us, and this other game is you know, trying to be a competitor. Let's tell our players, have a nice 20-minute adventure, like go F yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you know,
okay,
it's
yeah. And they're even saying they're calling blatant plagiarist game.
yeah.
And out. Oh boy.
But it's just like double, triple down on it. Like you would think, you know, maybe, all right, let's take a step back. Everyone's mad at us. Let's think about what's going on.
It's like, is this really? Do you really need to fire off a Yas Queen tweet about like some mobile game competitor whenever you're in the middle of a controversy that people think they're getting?
It's not even gonna be a mobile. This is gonna be a PC version of the game. So it'll be. I think it's a dedicated PC version, like directly coming after them. But you would just think, you know, they're like, all right, people are mad at us. This other game is taking shots at us. Let's take a step back. Let's maybe come up with some response to address people's concerns. You know, maybe we'll say, hey, we realize that you guys are
looking into this.
Yeah,
we hear you.
Yeah, just even something like, not even to make like a big statement. We're reverting something. Just say, hey, we hear you. We're currently, you know, we're gonna have some discussions, and we hear you. We're gonna think about it. Not even that. They're just like, you know, let's get on Twitter and shit on everyone.
Yeah, hopefully, you know, we can make these people, you know, we can make the fans hate these people more than they hate us, so we'll be okay.
Yeah, like it's
something like that. So like, what's with this? So Dr. Lupo has like the most liked comment here about cheating. So like, what?
He ratioed
they're still
them.
cheating?
I mean, so yes, I think it's really it's not. There is an issue. It seems to come in waves with this game, where there's a big rise in cheaters. They detect a bunch, then it's good for a while, then it picks up again. You know, sometimes it's awful, sometimes it doesn't feel that bad. I think that's a big problem in just FPS gaming in general right now.
It's nuts, man.
Like everyone seems to be struggling with this. Yeah,
it's like every game. Like I remember PUBG added that shit, especially people playing from China with like 500 ms. And then like they're also aimbotting you. Oh my god.
Yeah, and then there was the Apex Legends thing where people got hacked in the tournament. You know, Call of Duty's been riddled with it. So it doesn't. You know, there is a cheating problem in the game for sure, undeniably. Sometimes it's worse, sometimes it's all right, but every game seems to be struggling with that. So I wouldn't directly pin it on them specifically, because
I think that's fair.
You know,
if
Activision or EA can't figure out the cheating problem, like, you know, it's probably tough to figure out right now.
So what do you think is going to happen? Like, now that this whole thing has happened, and, you know, like, the community seems to be absolutely apeshit about this.
Okay, so something just dropped.
Yeah.
Twitter dropped the community notes on the Battlestate Games tweet. Oh my god.
They got PvE mode is not a unique feature, and it literally just links to, is this the Wikipedia link?
Yeah, Wikipedia downloadable content. Oh my god.
Man.
Wow.
Not looking good at all.
No.
Community notes doing a public service.
Wow.
That's great.
Would have thought.
What do you think's gonna happen with the community now? Like, do you think like they're gonna roll it back? Do you think people are gonna trust them again? Like, what's your read on it?
I struggle to see them going back on this. Just as a company, they don't roll back things often. Whether even if it's a patch, they drop a patch and there's some issues with it. They very rarely even rolled back a patch that introduced some like game breaking stuff. So the precedent is kind of there for them to stick to their guns. But I think people are definitely upset. I think a lot of people aren't going to be buying this for sure. It sucks though, because the game is honestly, it's a good game. You know, it's fun to play. I love playing it. People love it. But it's fucked up that it's like, damn, I'm playing this game and I'm supporting this in some capacity now.
I watched the trailer and the game looked good. Like, I was like, oh wow, this is a lot of really cool stuff. Maybe I should try this out. And then I open up the webpage and it's $250.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's like, so, and there's no other way to get the single player gameplay unless you pay $250. Is that right?
No, that's it. You can't even, if you wanted to play like the co-op PvE mode with your friends, it's not a separate thing you can buy. It's only in the $250 edition.
That is amazing.
Yeah. There is a mod for the game, like a single player mod that I've never played it. They've always said that you could get banned for playing it or something like that. People say it's great, so there is an alternative to it if you wanted to play it. So there's that. But yeah, if you wanted to play like the official whatever PvE mode that they added, the only way is to drop 250.
That is nuts. So like, and that's what's so crazy to me about this. It's like, how do you think that that's a reasonable price point? Because like, I just can't imagine, because I feel like having a PvE mode that's cheaper would probably get people to maybe try out the PvP. It should, if anything, be the opposite in my mind.
Yeah, well, how do you even come up? How do you even come up with this edition's $100 more than the other? Like, how are you quantifying the value there? You know?
Yeah,
the
like
base game.
Yeah.
Let me check, but the base game's like $45 maybe.
Really? Okay. Yeah, people are saying it was 60.
If you buy,
but...
it's 50 now. I think it used to be.
Okay.
I think it used to be. So the base game's $50. So for 5 times more money.
So it's a $150 game. Effectively, like for
well,
PvE.
you can no. If you want the PvE co-op mode that they just added, it's $250.
Oh, sorry. No, I did the math wrong. So you're paying $200 extra just for PvE in that case.
And some other additional items in the game, etc. Yeah, but more or less, yeah.
Man, that is crazy. That is, you know, because there was a game that got announced recently, Star Wars Outlaws, and it had a deluxe, you know, Omega edition for $130. And I feel like that was like 2 weeks ago. And everybody was saying like, well, there's no way it's worse. Anything happens, it's worse than this. And this is 2 weeks later, and it's double. Oh my God.
I remember, dude, buying Call of Duty with night vision goggles for like $100 back in the day. Remember?
Yes,
like,
yes. And it was like, it was a little bit cheesy, but like
you get the RC car too, drive around.
Yeah. You get the whole thing. Like you get that, remember the deluxe edition at like GameStop, and like you pre-order it because they don't have that many boxes. It's like, oh yeah, we really need to pre-order this video game that's deluxe digital edition that you just download. Oh yeah, let's pay extra money to pre-order this shit. I dude, I don't know how it's happened. So I have no clue.
Yeah, it's gotten crazy. And you know, I get like the games have become so complex now. Like the cost of making these games and like the resources and just the manpower you have to put in to make them is probably exponentially increased from you know, back 10 years ago. So I get it. Like the price of games and things has to go up, and they have to find creative ways to monetize them. But there's $250. That's
a lot.
There's good and bad ways to do that, and I think making a fun game for people to play, even if you charge some amount of money for it, and then you create content for it, you keep people playing and engaged, and you monetize through things that people want to buy to show off in the game or whatever. I don't really see a problem with that. But just,
well, they've got to make money somehow, right?
Yeah,
and I understand that. I try to be as fair as I can be. I mean, like, yes, we can sit here and act like boomers and be like, oh, back in my day, you just used to buy the game and you could play it offline and everything. Like, yeah, for sure we can do that. But yeah, I understand that too, and I think that's reasonable.
A $250 entry fee.
That's a lot of money.
It's steep, man. You know,
that's
you could charge.
Yeah,
you could charge a different price, or at least piece out the content, maybe, you know, like if you wanted this other PvE mode that they added, charge a price for it so someone can just buy that. There's better ways to do it. It's just a mess right now.
Yeah, it's so weird because like I'm sure a lot of people would want to try the PvE mode if it was like a smaller fee. Do you think that the community would have responded more positively towards this if this game mode and everything was included in the Edge of Darkness edition? Do you think any of this would have even really happened?
No. I mean, I think people would meme the $250 price tag, but I think a lot of people, they feel like, you know, they've been jabbed because they were promised, you know, it literally says all subsequent DLC, and then they come out with this extra thing that's not included, and their response to it isn't, oh yeah, you know, we up. It's no, this isn't DLC.
Yeah, it's not DLC, and you see these other guys, you see they're copying our shit. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I think that's really like what set people off. And like having like maybe some pay to win shit in the game is, people would be mad about it, but I don't think there would have been this type of outrage.
It's like the insult to the intelligence of the customer.
Yeah, and it's just like,
as if we don't know what DLC is.
Yeah, and it's like, hey man, I bought you got people that 7 years ago dropped 150 bucks, and they're like, dude, I supported you when this game was like bare bones, nothing, and you know, I've been with you all the way on this, and then you're trying to milk me for more money.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, shit, $150 7 years ago might almost be $250 now.
Shit, it's
So
probably
it's like,
it's probably two something with the way things are going now.
It's nuts, man. And like, I'm always amazed whenever I see a company do something like this, because it just seems like it's such an obvious, ridiculous decision to make. It's like, how do you do something like this and think that there won't be a huge backlash? And I think especially like, if any community can like effectively protest this, I think it could maybe be Escape from Tarkov, because of how like dedicated the fan base is.
Yeah.
It's like if they put something like this into Candy Crush, there's no way you're going to be able to do anything about it.
I mean, it's not even, I mean, what is the Candy Crush community? I have no idea.
Yeah.
Like,
it's the people that, you know, stay home all day.
Yeah, and I mean, all the like the big streamers on the game, like everyone's like, nah, I'm not buying this shit. That like
so like nobody, and like, so is that really the case where like nobody's even really paying attention to this, or like playing it at all?
People are playing it. Like, again, like I don't want to stop playing the game, because like
it's weird, right?
Yeah, because I like the game, I have fun with it. It like there's not a replacement for it yet, so it's a weird pickle to be in. I mean, so like some people bought the edition just to like see what all the stuff is and to check out the mode, and like so we can actually make an informed decision on it. So, you know, a content creator that bought it to be like, all right, what's the deal with this? Why is this 250 bucks? To show people like, all right, you know, if you're gonna be dropping 250, here's what you're gonna get. I wouldn't.
I think that's very fair.
I wouldn't get mad at anyone for doing that. Yeah, like there's a real thing, but we've seen it all now. I'm not buying it. Fuck no. I'm not doing it.
That's it. You're done.
Yeah, I'm not buying
this. You don't want to quit the game because you love the game. It's got a unique type of gameplay, but it's like, this is just some really rat shit.
Like, you know, if I continue to play the game, that's one thing, but I won't be supporting this type of practice of monetization, you know.
What do you think players should do? Like, do you think that they should stop playing if they believe it? Is it like a decision that you think that, you know, it's like everybody makes their own decision?
The weird thing is,
where are you at with that?
If you play the game, you've already bought it. Yeah. You know, like they've already got your money, so like playing it more, is it wrong to do? Like, probably not, but like maybe don't buy into the new stuff that they add, because like you've already paid for it. Like, you know, why just throw it away and waste your money at that point?
Very fair. I think that's a really good take.
If anything, if you wanted, you're just running up their server costs, maybe. You know,
so it's like, now you have to keep playing.
You gotta leave it open 24/7.
Right. Yeah. Stay on the server. And I feel like a lot of this is like, a lot of it is like pretty shady, but the changing the dialogue for the pre-order upgrade and not even saying that you're updating it, I think that's on another level, man. Like, that's something that I think they should at least take some accountability for, and at least like just be like, yeah, we did this, we're sorry, or something like that.
Yeah, and again, it's tough to say who did. I don't know who runs the website, or you know, who does that, or if this was like everyone sat down at a table somewhere and they're like, all right, how are we gonna get out of this? We're gonna go in and change the definitions of these things retroactively. So I don't want to make any like hard statements about that, but when I saw it, I was like, hold on, man, what just happened? Like what's going on? Why are we changing this stuff?
Yeah, and I think especially whenever it's being changed in a way that's like very non-advantageous to the customer, I feel like that's what really gets people's alarm bells ringing. Yeah, you know, I think that's pretty fair.
Yeah,
especially, you know, like the price of gaming is going up so much. I mean, I feel like $250. I would say it's a new low, but it's actually a new high.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I can't really think of just buying an edition of a game that's that much money. I mean, you can drop, thousands on in-game purchases.
Bullshit mobile games, yeah, sure.
But I mean, this is uncharted territory almost.
Well, what do you hope they do?
Developers. When I did like a short stream in the morning when this dropped, and when I ended off, I said, I hope they take a moment here and they step back and they say, hey, everyone's mad at us. What are we gonna do about this? How can we, make this right with the player base? And I was hoping that they would just, come back with some statement and or at least, like we said before, say, hey, we hear you. We're gonna take some time and look into this. Like, please be patient. We hear you though. And they've I ended my stream. I went to go work out, and I was on Twitter, and I was seeing them post the thing about Arena Breakout and everything. I'm like, holy shit, they're just they're going in on it. I was like, I did not expect that. I thought, if there was something that would make them take a step back and analyze, like, all right, we fucked up. Like, people are mad, like, where did we go wrong? And
it's just completely toned up.
Maybe they're doing that right now. I certainly hope so.
Oh, I'm sure they are, realistically.
Yeah, but right now it's crazy. I mean, people are pissed.
What a circus. Yeah, people are telling me the conversion rates. They're saying it's $350 in Canadian dollars.
Oh, I mean, yeah, so it's
$329 in euros.
It's $250 USD. I mean, if you're in like Australia, what is that in?
Nearly 400 kangaroo dollars, somebody says in my chat. Oh my
Is it? God. 383 Australian dollars. 250 USD is 383.26 cents.
Oh my god.
383 Australian dollars.
Crazy.
Someone just said it's 430 Australian after tax.
430
after tax. Is
Bro, like, I bought a car for like $500 before. Like, we're getting dangerously close to a video game being the price of a car. This is,
right?
Yeah, this is,
hey.
This is a real situation.
You wouldn't download a car, would you?
I mean, shit. Yeah. This is crazy.
You wouldn't download a car.
Yeah, now you can. Give it a couple more years and you'll be able to download a car.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god. Well, I mean, shit, man. I do hope that they fix it. I really do. And I want to say thanks a lot for coming on. And, like, I think you represent the community so well. Like, you're probably, especially in terms of all of the controversies and things that I've seen, I think that you have, like, really good takes on this, and you're very measured. And I appreciate that a lot. I respect that. I respect you as well, man. Big fan, by the way. Hey, man.
I always like hearing your takes on stuff. So, it's an unfortunate thing to happen, but maybe if this is getting so much attention, companies see this and they're like, all right, we don't want to pull one of these. Let's, if we're thinking about getting crazy with some of the purchases, it
sets an example.
Let's stand back and go, all right, we don't want this to blow up, and we don't want to be on Forbes and articles about this. Like, let's think about this for a moment.
Yeah, I saw one of those went out about the Escape from Tarkov pretty recently, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, there's something on Forbes and PC Gamer, and it's going all over.
What a disaster, man.
Yeah.
Well, I do really appreciate you coming on and talking about it. I'll probably, wrap everything up with my chat, and then, probably follow up with this tomorrow, see where things go. Hopefully, hopefully better, right?
I hope so, but only time will tell.
Absolutely, man. Well, anyway, it was really good meeting you and talking with you, and thanks a lot.
A pleasure, man. Thank you as well.
See you later, man. Peace.
Take it easy. All right, guys. A rare Asmongold Tony's Pizza crossover. Would you look at that? I hope you guys enjoy it. Dude, Asmongold's super nice guy. He's super level-headed. He always has. I don't always agree with his takes on everything, but he's every time I see him comment on a situation, he seems very well spoken. He thinks about things. He has a very good analytical take on stuff. He doesn't bring emotion into it. I always like hearing his takes on stuff, especially around games too. So awesome dude. Only good things to say about him.